Jumi, usually these situations are pretty easy to piece together. Once you know the tail number for a plane, you basically just follow the chain down to find out who the plane belongs to, where that company is registered. All of that should usually just come spilling out once we have that basic information. But in this case, that's different because the pilot in question here, the owner of that plane with that specific tail number, has requested that they not be tracked. Now, in this situation, we have been able to find out some information because even if the pilot does not want to be tracked on where he's flying to, where he's headed to, all of that, they still have to register with the FAA. And in this situation, this plane is registered to a company called Sage Aviations LLC out of North Carolina. You do a little bit more digging on that. You go to Sage Aviation in North Carolina and realize that company, that LLC, no longer exists. But another version of Sage Aviation does exist in Florida, and both of them have the same resident agent, basically the same person who's willing to vouch for the company, potentially the owner of the plane. Started all of this out this morning contacting a company called Health Decisions based out of North Carolina, suspecting that they were in some way involved in this crash, and we have confirmed today that they are. Their CEO is the owner of the aircraft involved in this crash and one of the casualties. His name, as you mentioned before, Michael J. Rosenberg. We spoke exclusively with his family just a few moments ago. They indicated he is an experienced pilot. They did not see this coming. Obviously, he has a great history in aviation. And as we discovered, an active FAA license was medically cleared earlier today. And you're looking at a video from his firm, Health Decisions. They're a clinical research firm, and you're seeing Michael J. Rosenberg right there on your screen. This guy was a doctor, a CEO, and an experienced aviator. When you look at the NTSB crash reports, the ones available publicly on the web going back to 1983, we're talking about at least 29 crashes. There could be more than those. Of those, 3 fatal crashes and I believe 6 fatalities in all of those. But they happen at least on a regular basis. They've had 2 crashes there just in the last 6 months.
And we're also learning more tonight about the people on board that plane who were killed. ABC 7 IT reporter Joce Sterman has been digging through aviation records this afternoon. And Joce, I understand that one of those victims survived an earlier crash near the same airport. What did you learn about that?
Absolutely, Leon. It's unbelievable, but Michael J. Rosenberg was the pilot of a plane that crashed into the trees at the Montgomery County Air Park, the same one back in 2010. His family confirmed that for us exclusively earlier today as we tried to track down who was involved in this crash. They say Rosenberg was an experienced pilot, and tonight they are in shock. Now, Rosenberg's earlier crash was a big one. You're looking at News Chopper 7 footage that was over the scene back in March of 2010. It shows his turboprop buried in the trees and the snow. Now, Rosenberg walked away from that crash, but his plane was destroyed. It was more than $1 million in damage.